Hi, my name is Presley Chweneyagae, and I like to play with my mom. I like about my dad. I like to play with him, and I like to play tag, rock, paper, scissors, and arm wrestle. He takes me to school, and that's all about my dad.
Hi, my name is Presley Chweneyagae, the second born of Presley Chweneyagae. And about myself, I'm quiet, like my own space, loving, caring, and I'm kind. My dad being a TV superstar tells me that anything is possible, and if you just be consistent and keep on working and grinding every day, you can make it to the top, no matter where you're from. About my father's when maybe we're on like road trips or on the way to like holidays, like vacations and all that. Always switch on music and just start dancing, making funny moves and all. And yeah, cracking jokes in the car. That would have to be it. Normal day with my dad would have to be him taking me to school in the morning, him fetching me. And after he fetches me, he asks me like if I wanted to go somewhere, if I had other plans, or he could either be making appointments for me to go to a dentist to get the dentist letters and all. Or if not, a normal day would just have to be us watching TV together, watching documentaries. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, my name is Yabulela Somfula. I'm Presley Chweneyagae's first son. I like my own space. I don't talk much, and I'm also loving and caring. Me seeing my dad on TV made me proud, and also it showed that everything is possible, no matter from where you are, you can still make it. And through his acting, I could see people like healing from their problems. Him making them laugh is my favorite moments with my father was our road trips, dinners, also listening to music with him because he had a good taste of music, and also just chatting with him was also nice. We love you, Dad. We are gonna miss you. May your soul rest in peace.
Dumelang, sanibonani. My name is Charlaine Chweneyagae. I'm born and bred in Swaziland. In the year 2007, I came to SA to study. At the time, I was studying in Pretoria, and that's where I met my husband, Presley, who I fondly call Mosha. We've been together for about 18 years. We met in 2007. We were neighbors. And I guess we were saving water. We decided we were going to save water. But honestly, we were neighbors, and so, he just approached me one day, and everything happened. I actually never knew who he was at the time. I didn't know he was an actor, I knew nothing, and that's where we kicked it off. Presley was a fun-loving guy, very ambitious, very, very ambitious, kind-hearted, soft, gentle. When he needed to, he could, take it a notch up. But overall, he was very humble, very respectful guy. Presley's work ethic was unmatched. We'd be having normal, real-life issues, paying off bills, running kids to school, and, just managing our home and our daily lives and struggle and family at large, and there'll be pressing issues, and he has to film. And as an actor, he used his emotions to express his work. And on a bad day, he had to tell jokes. On a bad day, he had to, make the whole country laugh. And he did that effortlessly. The one thing I take from him is read the room. Every situation it's got his own reaction. I really, applaud him. There were times when he was not okay and literally walking, screaming, crawling. He gave his craft everything. He gave it blood, he gave it tears, and he gave it all his sweat. So he taught me to be a goal-getter, to get up and get things done. With Presley, it was everything is now. Now, let's go. So he really taught me, to push for the things that I want. And that's what I really take from all of this. He was a risk taker. I have to narrate a situation where he had work in the UAE. He literally checked himself out of hospital and he said, the next morning I'm jumping on a flight and I'm heading off to the UAE. He leaned on me all the way to the airport. We got onto a flight, we flew to the UAE, to Amman, and he executed beautifully. And we were 20 minutes away from the Palestine war. And we on a particular day while we were there was a bomb flying over our heads. And then that's real. That's the reality that I had to live with. Those were real risks. When they talk about someone who would take a bullet for me, they talk about Presley, because he really did at some point. Presley really cared about myself and the kids. He really went all out for us. He knows I'm a woman of expensive taste and he made sure of that. But jokes aside, he really, he was a father. Most of the times when he had to take Preston to the dentist and then they'd have their lunch dates, there were times when he would say on a Monday, Ashton cannot go to school, he's extremely tired, and I'd only find out when I get back from work, and even with Sia as well. He enjoyed having lunches, special lunches with Sia. He'd go and pick him up, spend time with him. I'll miss our Sunday lunches, which we did a lot. Our brides in the Lapa. Holidays. We had amazing holidays, He always made sure the kids and I, we went on holiday. Good holidays, He really made time for us throughout everything. He was a couch potato, very quiet, and I'll miss that silent voice sitting on the corner couch, lying on the corner couch covered in a blanket. I'll miss that about him. Musha cared about people, cared about his family, his mom, siblings. He made sure that we were always in Mafeking to check on the family. And, my side of the family as well in Swaziland, we had a routine where during December holidays, we knew that's for our families. And one is in Mafeking, the other is in Swaziland. We'd make sure that we plan holidays for both families. We've traveled so much with the family as well. He just wanted his family to be happy, to be comfortable, and to be well taken care of, Presley cared about his friends a lot. He had a lot of friends. and he honestly Bluetoothed the energy to each one of them. You know, if he introduced one to the other, then they all became a squad. They drove me crazy over the years. They gave me a hard time. They gave me a run for my money. But in the end, you know, it's, you know, even before the end, we created such a strong brotherhood. You know, they've been there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we've all held each other down as family, because that's who Presley was, and that's what he always wanted. You know, I remember a time where, phew, we'd be looking for him for work, and he's AWOL and he's at Rance's place, or he's at Justice's place, or he's at Bra Otto's place, and I had to have a search party all the time for him. But, you know, that was Presley. He loved his friends. He treated them like family. They were always welcome in our home. You know, we broke bread together. And he always wanted to make sure that his friends have work, in as much as he wanted them to make sure he was also good. You know, they had a real brotherhood. And, you know, he had a selected few sisters in the industry he cared for. He really deeply did care about people around him, you know, from the guys that collect our dustbins every week. He always made sure utlogela choko. Auntie kiye choko for bashimane bale. You know, even the guys that sold fruits on the corner streets made sure, you know. And you know, the times when they take out like a large sum of money, and I'd say, but really, I mean, and he'd say, no, it's my protection fee, because he always had their backs, and in return he expected that. And, you know, looking at the outpour of condolences and everyone coming for giving us all their support, it shows us what kind of person Presley really was. Yeah.
Presley really loved people around him, besides family and friends, you know. People in general, young, old, you know, he had no boundaries. He loved people across the board. He didn't discriminate in any way, you know. And hence he came to putting together a foundation after meeting Newzroom and Israel. And that's where we formed what we call the Big Five, which is our circle of friends. Presley, at the time, we were staying in a flat, Kosani site, back in 2007. And this guy was writing, and he was busy, and, you know, he had so much love for writing at the time. And he would always say to me, no, I want to put something together for Bashimane Baba Nyaupe, you know, maybe I can get through to somebody through my work, you know, because they identified. Actually, when, you know, we'd walk through the streets, people would think Presley was from the streets, literally. Nobody thought that he has, you know, family or anything. So they identified, you know, through his work and his art, they identified with him. And that's how he came up with the foundation initially, you know, when he walked through town. I mean, our first date was at Capello's State Theatre, and this guy came up with a bandaged leg, literally bleeding, and we were having something to eat. And he came up to Presley, and I couldn't understand. And he's like, this is the reason why I want to help people, because, you know, this guy kept on rambling and rapping and trying to express himself to Presley. And I was so confused. And he said to me, this is the reason why I want to give people like this a platform, because he believed in giving somebody work to change their lives. He did not believe in, you know, enabling people. So he wanted to give people purpose put them on platforms. So basically that's why he started the foundation back in 2007. He did quite a bit of work in association with other brands with his foundation, and on the 7th of June, when we actually lay him to rest, we had already proposed, we actually had planned and proposed a charity run, Kumafikeni, which was supposed to take place on the 7th, and unfortunately to his dismay, we're not able to execute this. But we do have future plans. We had future plans to work with the foundation and give it life, give it Presley. So I do believe that with the assistance of his friends in the industry and everyone at large, we can do something to keep Presley's legacy going and to keep his name alive, because I do not know him as an industry person. I know him as my husband, and I would not want his work and his art to go with him. We have to keep it alive. So I will do my best to keep it alive, as hard as it is, because, you know, with Presley, he was unmatched and his line of thought was different. This is somebody who'd call his boss at 11 o'clock, which is, I'd never imagined doing that. You know, he'd call his bosses at 11 o'clock and say, "Chief, we've got work to do," you know. So the purpose of the foundation really was to alleviate poverty, give people purpose. More than anything, he looked at the struggle that artists, his fellow artists had, and he always wanted to generate work. He always gave work to fellow artists, especially the young upcoming artists. He enjoyed working with them, Bomatsepo. You know, he enjoyed them so much. So those are some of the goals he had for his foundation. I'm going to miss you, my mush. That's what I called him, my mush. I'm going to miss you, Musham. We had planned a whole life together. I'm going to miss, you know, you being my alarm clock, whether it's early hours of the morning, you know, when Vance is hooting at the gate, bringing you home, you know. I'm going to miss your boyki, cooking for me and the kids. So much, you know, the relief of taking the kids to the dentist, you know, Christian appointments. I'm going to miss little things that mattered so much, which were big for us, you know. I'm going to miss being collected from work and my chicken dicken lunches or a lunch date. It's just the little things that mattered for us. Our trips, we traveled a lot with people, you know, always on the road. We'd move from, I think, country to country sometimes. I remember we did a trip leaving Botswana, South Africa. We did Swaziland and Mozambique in one weekend. And that was crazy, but you know, whatever it took to get the work done, and it was fun. We had a good time. I'll miss teasing you. We started when we were kids. We started when we were very young. I was only 18 at the time. And, you know, at the time teaching you how to drive a car, you know, and you're never even ashamed of saying it, even in interviews, or, you know, you said it proudly. Said, "Oh, she taught me how to even drive a car." And that was our reality, you know. I was very timid and naive at the time when we met. You know, it taught me how to be tough and to be a bit streetwise, you know. I'll miss that about you. just the interaction you had with myself and the children, teasing your mom, calling her calling them oh Maggie, the little things, the fun that we had. Our trips meant everything to us. We always, as a family, we always looked out for the next trip. We're really going to miss that. It was our bonding time, and it's time where we got you away from the world and we just had you all to ourselves. I'll miss doing grocery shopping. Go Pick and Pay or check, and they already knew, okay, Kim said you are Presley. And they give us our space uninterrupted and we do our thing. I'll miss grocery shopping. I don't know how I'm going to do that because I was always with you when we did that. Small things, but they mattered. I'll miss riding donkey carts in the farm, which is our thing. We love that. Yeah, I don't know what the future holds, but I know wherever you are, your star is still shining bright, and it's shining upon me and the kids. I know you're our guardian angel. I know you look out for us. You always wanted the best for us. You always had my back, my yin to my yang. You lived. You did everything. If I could wake you up and say something to you is ulepara, ulepara mosha, bola, ulitona. You've done it, and I saw it. We went through it all. My ride or die forever. It's hard to say bye to you. You're my best friend, the love of my life. My parents gave you a hard time. They gave you a run for your money, and you had so many options, but you chose me. You chose me, and it was just always you and I in the end. Even the kids knew. I don't know how I will carry on, but I know that I have to for our boys. I know that I have to for myself, because I know that's what you would have wanted for us. You always wanted the best, and I can never compromise that. The boys, mom's got you, and we just have to carry on. Moshe, if I could wake you up, and say something to you, would be my deepest gratitude to you. Everything you've done for me and the children, everything you've taught me, and always being by my side in all that I do, to my source of wisdom in good and in bad times, for always keeping it homely. We're all my journeys, and I love you endlessly, and our love was one that surpassed all understanding. Thank you. Asante sana.